So it's not for kids.
Honestly, listen. I don't know what the fuck you're gonna say, but I was gonna say if the Joker could beatbox video is so good because like he kind of nailed it. Like if the Joker could beatbox, that probably is what it would sound like.
I don't like that like our podcast requires reference materials, like has like a bibliography, you know, like they should be able to drive and listen to this.
I don't know. I feel like
it's like so esoteric, Tom.
We have to speak to our fans, our niche, right? And like if they don't know that the Joker could theoretically beatbox, that like it kind of like it is on them to go look this up. Like,
okay, if you're driving, do not look this up while you're driving. Like pull over on the side of the freeway.
You act as if like they have to like go like seek it out, as if like you couldn't edit it in. Like you couldn't just go get the clip, like get permission.
I don't have the legal rights to it, and it's too much work. So
all you got to do is send a guy a message and be like, "Hey, I want."
Can I put this in my board game podcast?
I think it follows under fair use because we're talking about the Joker could beatbox video, and so it's like using it as reference material. It's fair use.
One thing you can do is you can take a quick look. You can look at the episode number. If you're driving, again, pull over and do this, but just scroll into that podcasting app. Take a look at which episode we're on. You know which episode we're on, Tom?
6-7.
6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7.
If 6-7 could beatbox, what would that sound like?
Why 6-7?
I love the 6-7 meme because like it's like finally true nonsense. It's kind of like back to Skibbity Basics. It's back to Skibbity Basics.
You're talking like Skibbity came out in like 2010.
Well, see, but like Skibbity...
This is like 6 months ago, brother.
Skibbity had an origin. It was literally just like a scat musician.
You're saying there's lore.
Skibbity Toilet like was trying to be a specific kind of thing, and then it happened to catch on. And then like all the other things that we call brain rot are like, it's like the Minecraft movie. It was like trying to be a thing, and then it like caught on and went crazy. 6-7 is literally like nothing. It's like as near to being like out of like the ether as possible. I understand the whole thing with like the rapper that I don't remember the name of that like.
Yeah. So you're pro 6-7.
A little bit in a way.
I think I'm also pro. Yeah.
I just feel like it's evolving. Brain rot evolution, you know.
Do you believe in Skibbity or do you believe in 6-7?
It's like saying if if I have buttered toast and you're asking me like, do I believe in butter or do I believe in toast? Like,
what if all the memes came together? That's 6-7. Welcome to Shelf Stable, a podcast celebrating board games that have stood the test of time. I'm your scuffed host, Kenny Katayama.
Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Brain Rot Destiny Edition. I'm your other host, Tom Bowers. Today, the feature topic is a genre unto itself. It's the Criterion collection of board games, almost, if you will. But not really, because we didn't think that far ahead on this one. Before we talk about that, let's just talk about games we've been playing recently. What you got any for me, Kenny?
Welcome back to Knizia Corner. Tom, I got to play a couple games of Rheinländer from 1999. This is designed by Rheinländer Knizia and published by Face to Face.
I was going to say, you don't get a lot of narcissism from the good doctor.
Yeah, he's generally pretty conscientious and empathetic, but I think he just leaned in on this one. And I'm even going to publish it with the face to face, like his face looking into his own face in the mirror.
Oh, this isn't like that movie?
Yeah, it's not. What movie are you talking
about? The one with, what's that fucker's name?
Nicolas Cage and John Travolta? Is that
yes, I was trying to think of John Travolta's name and it was not coming to me. Yeah.
I don't know how I pulled that you were talking about that, knowing that the movie is called Face Off and has nothing to do with Face to Face.
It's just
I
like
think we just know each other really
I
well.
was gonna say, like, you know me better than I know myself at this point. I'm like it's just embarrassing. I think it's like the second week in a row where I've tried to make a reference and you're like, you're completely off by like 10 degrees. You're like, but I know what you're talking about.
It's okay. I got you, Tom.
Aren't there like 2 slashes like between the words face and off?
It's like face X off. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Rheinländer. And Rheinländer is a lesser known Knizia. I wouldn't say it's obscure, but it's like it's not one that comes up when people are like, I love Knizia. And I feel like it's kind of a gem, honestly. The first time I played it, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like there might be something here, but it might just be that passion. It was like an infatuation, kind of like honeymoon moment. But I played it again. I'm like, the core conceit is that you are playing these little knights, these pieces around the Rhine, the river that extends through Germany and I believe goes through France as well. The idea is when you have touching pieces, they form a duchy. And you're trying to make the biggest duchy, and when duchies touch each other, the bigger duchy wins and takes over the weaker one. If this sounds familiar, it's because there's a lot of DNA overlap with Tigris and Euphrates. I think the big difference is pieces don't get removed in this, so you kind of just incorporate the existing one. The loser actually gets consolation points, so it's not like a completely useless endeavor. And then that serves to grow your duchy. We were really struggling with the names of pieces because the knights were little discs, but then the duchies are represented by a knight. So we ended up doing our classic daddies and babies. So the daddies own all the babies on the field. Mm-hmm. That really helped with cleaning up the game rules in the second play. I think that this game has teeth. It's got quite a bit of like that development, that go-like feeling as you're stretching things out. There are certain points on the map that give you advantages, like give you more points or give you more control or allow you to take control of the large phallic object that represents the church. Again, I think these games really like to have these like wooden totems. Let's call it that. I don't know if you know, Tom, but I got a lot of flack for Jungle Speed.
Oh, for not knowing the difference between different types of sex toys?
Apparently the flared bass is the important thing. And I had a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of family, a lot of people writing in to let me know about the flared bass. So here I am. I know what it is. I understand the difference now.
He went and he studied, okay? He got hands-on with it. His mom called him. She was like, Kenny, we need to talk. It's clear to me. I have never had...
Please, no, Tom, please. I don't need this imagery. Anyway, Rheinländer, really fun. I can't wait to play it again. I think it stands on its own. It has enough overlap to be like, ooh, these are the fun things I like in a Knizia tile layer, while also being significantly different and scratching a different itch. I believe it's getting a reprint. I don't know when that's coming out, but yeah, I'm really excited for that. I want more people to play this. I want it to get into their hands and not have to dig it around in the depths of BGG Marketplace for it like I did.
I'm curious to know firsthand what this game is like.
Yeah,
because I saw y'all playing it and I was like, ooh, 1999.
It does look like a game from 1999.
Yeah.
That was Rheinländer.
Speaking of 1999, let's go all the way back in time to somewhere around there, but I don't remember when the original Wolfgang Kramer game came out, and I forget what it's called, but this game that I'm going to talk about is based on, and that's Downforce from 2017. Hold on.
It came from Top Race, which came out in 1996.
Which itself is a re-implementation of a game called Tempo.
Wolfgang Kramer's been around a while. He's one of the big four.
I failed to recognize just how long he's been around because I knew he was in the 90s. He had a hot streak in the 90s with like El Grande.
Yeah. Tikal, the Mass Trilogy.
He is still out there doing work with Michael Kiesling in particular. This is also designed by Justin D. Jacobson and Rob Daviau. Rob Daviau, who you might know as somebody that turns old games into new good games, I'd say, a little bit. Seems to be his forte. Took Pandemic, turned it into Pandemic Legacy, kind of gave us all of that. He gave us a lot of versions of Monopoly, right? That's his fault.
I don't know Monopoly, but he did a lot of like Hasbro games for sure. Might have been. Let's keep it going.
Let's just keep the show going. Let's just talk about Downforce. Downforce, which came out in 2017, is based on games that have been around since at least 1974, apparently, and re-implemented multiple times. So this is kind of like a final evolution of sorts of racing games with a betting. The betting game is actually the main game, and the racing game is sort of what you're playing underneath it, published by Restoration Games. Now, what's interesting is you can play this game and take the betting part out of it and then play what might be a much less interesting, straightforward racing game that is very approachable for children. And I know I've talked about Downforce before on the show. I think the original episode where we talked about it, I talked about it as experienced as the full game. So I thought it might be interesting to look at it from this other angle with an official variant. It's there in the back of the rules where instead of getting the full hand of cards and you're betting on who's going to win, you have player powers and all that nonsense. You just draw 3 cards. You get to play one of them and then draw a new one so that you always have your choice out of 3 cards to play from your hand. And then it's literally a straightforward race. You split the 6 cars evenly between the players so that you each have some number of colors that you're potentially rooting for, and you're just trying to be the first one to pass the finish line. And I played this head to head. I'll say this, as far as it being like approachable and kid friendly, like I do think it's a good design in that sense. It's very simple, and I think it introduces some interesting strategy decision making where you have to, because every card you play is going to move. It's going to move more than one of the cars. And so you always have to like sort of mitigate the fact that you're giving your opponents some amount of movement with the movements that you want to take. And the positioning in particular becomes important at the corners. For how simple the game is mechanically, the theme really manages to come out. The idea that it's Formula One racing, right? And position going into the corners seems to be what matters most. I'm not the world's biggest racing follower, but as I understand it, that is essentially pretty important to Formula One and other forms of car racing.
I think that's like a key thing of it. But again, I'm also not familiar, so
it manages to capture like that basic thematic element while being mechanically extremely simple. I mean, arguably so streamlined, you might even feel like it's boring, but I do think that if you can leverage the positioning, you'll come out ahead more often. I haven't played this like so many times that I can like definitively say that it's more strategically driven than luck driven. But for a game where it's just play a card, draw a card, it did feel as if the depth of strategy was rewarding enough.
I'm fascinated that you enjoyed it or found so much depth in it. Again, I haven't focused on the racing part, but to me, it felt so auxiliary.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's interesting when you strip the game down to just being about the race. And then you're starting to think about like, is this a fun racing game? I don't think it beats out like Heat by any means. If you really want to kind of enjoy the thrill, the thing about Heat in particular is that you feel that sort of push-pull, tug of war, as if you're in the driver's seat and you're having to make that decision about how fast you're going to slam into that turn. Yeah. That kind of decision making is not here. I don't know. There's a delightful amount of like depth to be found in such a small offering with Downforce. And it's still my favorite fun fact that the like little Mario Kart figurines from the Mario Kart board game fit the spaces equally well as the cars. Another pro tip for you gamers out there.
Yeah, I think Downforce is okay. I thought it was really cool the first time we played it, but I've cooled considerably on it. I just feel like it's in an awkward spot where there's betting games that I'd rather play and there's racing games that I'd rather play. I don't think it's a bad game, but I'm just like, it's struggling. It's suffering from that classic like master of none kind of scenario.
No, totally. I think if I didn't have kids, it probably wouldn't still be in my collection. It's just that my kids have enjoyed this game quite a bit. And I think the fact that it has that all audiences appeal, and you can scale the complexity sort of up and down based on the group you're bringing it out to. There's something to be said for that if you're like in that sort of market, but you still enjoy racing games. I'd say if you wanted to get like, grandma to play Heat, you could start with Downforce potentially, and then be like, okay, now you've played Downforce, let me introduce you to Heat. But
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was Downforce from 2017. Tom, I like my little alien, Carl Chudyk, and we got to play another game of Innovation from 2010. This is published by Asmadi Games. Carl Chudyk, multi-use cards, not as multi-use in this game, although you still tuck them on sides and they represent points and achievements in certain cases. But the conceit of Innovation is that you are building a tableau, a pretty small tableau of inventions through history and progressing through technology until you get to the modern age. And you're trying to break the game functionally. You're trying to find ways to just completely exploit the abilities of cards that are continuously getting stronger and stronger as you progress through history, to a point where you're like, well, I guess I won. I taught this to two people that had not played that were really interested in it. I think one of them was like, it's fun, but it's just a little random. And the other one really enjoyed it. I don't think Innovation is for everyone. I definitely think it's got its fans, but I think for the people who do enjoy it, it is like a class act, the gold standard. If you want games that have these lull random moments, but you wish that they had a little bit more structure, then Innovation is the game for you. Because there's crazy stuff that's going to happen. Yeah. But at least you feel smart doing it. It's not like Flux or Exploding Kittens where just stuff will happen. And there's always a generally easy to parse optimal play to the point where you're just kind of playing it out. You're not really thinking. Innovation, you really got to think. There's decision points. But sometimes stupid stuff is going to happen anyway. And so that's what I like about Innovation.
I like this idea that Innovation is Flux for smart people. Or it's like... it's the chess to Flux's checkers or Munchkin's checkers. So if you want the Munchkin experience, but you also listen to Radiohead, you should really check out Innovation.
I mean, you're not wrong, right? That is literally the definition.
Yeah, in a way, I think what you're really trying to get at in general, though, is it's not a balanced game. So you can't be butthurt when you just get donked on by some random shit your opponent pull out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is also a very strategic game.
Yep.
That it keeps illuminating itself more and more interesting ways every time you come back to it.
I still haven't played any of the expansions. This was the 3rd edition deluxe. Not the ultimate one that we were using our friend's copy, but still I was just especially with a teaching game, I don't think they're needed. And also I have yet to get to a point where I'm Innovation could use an injection of new stuff in it. I feel like there's just so much more to explore inside of the base game that it's not one of those games where you're hankering for expansion content. It was an Innovation from 2010.
Nice. Kenny, we just played Mandala from 2019. This is designed by Trevor Benjamin, Brett J. Gilbert, and published by Lookout Games, normally of Uwe Rosenberg.
Yeah, it's part of that 2-player line,
Yeah.
The other one I like is Great Plains in that series.
Yeah, it fits right in with Patchwork as well. What's that other one they've done?
They did the Agricola 2-player and the Caverna and the Le Havre. They did all those.
I've played Le Havre, the inland port, by the way. I don't... It's not very interesting.
Oh, it's
but
not?
Mandala, by comparison, is really cool. You've already talked about this, so I'm basically probably going to say the same thing as you said, which is that essentially this is an underglazed gem from 2019. I don't remember if we talked about it when we did a 20... didn't we do a 2019 retrospective?
I don't think it came up in the 2019 retrospective.
I guess just did not make it in front of our eyes at that time.
Yep.
And I want to correct that now. I mean, like, I really do think that this is like a massively underrated 2-player abstract, potentially.
I agree, yeah.
I mean, I haven't played it so many times that I can like say that with true authority per se, but just on, first blush, there's a lot of like interesting decision making, plays quickly. And I love the fact that you can kind of control when exactly the game ends, sort of. You can't like truly control it. It's just more that there's like a tug of war for actually determining when the game is going to stop.
There's so much juice there in what is like a pretty simple rule set.
Yeah, exactly. A really simple rule set that is really easy to teach over Discord. That's a little inside joke there, but
he's doing some jabs at me because I really struggled to teach this game, and then after we got going it was fine. But like if you are like teaching it on Board Game Arena and they can't see your screen and you're just trying to describe the locations and you don't know the names of the locations, it can get a little hard.
It doesn't help that like on Board Game Arena, like you don't see exactly like where the different zones are until you click on the cards. And so you were telling me that there was like some third zone and I like literally couldn't see it because it wasn't indicated by anything.
And then we forgot to turn off the timer, so it was just like tick 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 tick. You better take your turn like now.
Yelling at us, and it's just like, God, you're like the slowest player that's ever logged onto this game. Yeah, but once we finally understood it, it really sung. Massively underrated. Not enough people are glazing this one, including ourselves. And so I want to try and correct that a little bit right here. And I'm going to give it about 20 more plays probably in the near future, right after the 20 plays that I owe like Brass Birmingham.
Yeah.
And then I'll kind of report back if I want to actually submit this to the pantry. It might just be that good.
Yeah, I think it's super solid.
So that's Mandala from 2019.
100 games to play before you die.
All right, Kenny.
Dab, fidget spinner.
It's time for the part of the show where I talk about the 100 games that you came up with that every person needs to play before they die. Congratulations, Dick Van Dyke. You survived. You've lifted the curse.
Are you sure?
Oh, shit.
It's December.
There's a month left. No.
What are you doing right now?
For some fucking reason, I really did think it was past like December 12th.
Yeah, you're like pulling the parachute and he's not even out of the plane yet.
Oh, shit. No, bro, just hold on. You're good, man. You're good. December 13th, we can make it. In the time between now, when you listen to this episode, because you know he does, and December 13th, his 100th birthday, I hope he manages to play game number 53 on this list. And that's Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game from 2012, designed by Jay Little, published by Fantasy Flight.
And not to be confused with Jay Leno.
Jay Little.
You heard about this? You heard about the Star Wars?
You hear about this?
You hear about Star Wars X-Wing?
What the hell is this doing on this list, Kenny?
Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game is a miniatures game. Get that. But right. We have other miniature games on the list. We have other skirmish battle games. So why X-Wing? I think X-Wing is notable for having made templates cool and for really incorporating templates in a way that's core to the minis experience while also making it a pleasant one. Because templates are notorious for being obnoxious. If anybody's ever seen the circular ruler that shows you the radius of an explosion, like that kind of stuff drives even people who play those games crazy. But somehow Star Wars took the pathing of these ships maneuvering and going around in 45-degree angles, 90-degree angles, things like that, and made that like one of the most pleasurable things about the game. I think it's because it's also so relevant. when you play X-Wing, so much of the game comes down to maneuvering and predicting where people are going to be so that you can get behind them and shoot at them. And I don't think there is a Star Wars game. I'm just going to go on a limb here. There's a lot of Star Wars games that I've played, and I don't think there's any game that I've played that better invokes what it's intending to invoke from the Star Wars franchise than Star Wars X-Wing does. Mm-hmm. I've not played Star Wars Rebellion, and I know that's very glazed. But really, this game really makes you feel like Spider-Man, you know? Like, it really does, like, put you in the cockpit, which I think is impressive, given that it's a bunch of minis on a table kind of thing.
Were you the one who was talking about not needing a bibliography for this show earlier?
Yeah, I never got heavily into it. Like, I wasn't playing competitively. I wasn't collecting anything. But I did find this game deeply entertaining, and I was definitely up for it when people had, like, their own customized fleets and things like that. I can see why it was such a big hit, and you know, I think it's fun, and I think it definitely lends itself where if you like these kinds of games, this is a good one to discover that through.
Basically, what you said is true, which is that you've played a lot of Star Wars, and you have yet to find one that makes you feel as if you're experiencing like those 6 space battles, like in real time, in person, and you're the one driving the X-Wing or the TIE fighters. Like when you do a little U-turn, you can like almost in your head hear like the like noise that they make, which I'm sure that sounded really good. And I love like the simplicity of like all the mechanisms. Now I understand that like this game more or less stands on the shoulders of giants in the sense that I don't think any of the mechanisms, the way in which this game is played is new. It's just that they took the best out of everything that wargaming history had brought, and they really like slimmed it down. At least I'm just talking about experiencing like the core set, right? 1 X-Wing against 2 TIE fighters. They really figured out how to make like this near perfect like 2-player experience that really evokes Star Wars. Really gets you in the action, and it's light, fast, easy to play. It's just an elegant design, and kind of underrated as a like core set only experience. Because of course, it did go on to be a whole thing where you had like fleets of ships, and there was like a meta game, and people were like bitching about all the boats, you know, that were taking over the meta at one point. I know about a little bit about it, but just that core set experience is really. It's
crazy that they put the Titanic in there. Like that doesn't fly. Strange.
Yeah.
I do want to quickly mention Gaslands for a few reasons. I think Gaslands is very notable for doing this templating system very well as well. I mean, it can almost be a stand-in for X-Wing. I also know that there's going to be purists out there that go ree because I don't mention Gaslands. So here's a shout out to Gaslands. Really? If you've ever wanted to take your Hot Wheels and put them in a Mad Max, you know, racing around trying to kill each other, like Death Race, almost Twisted Metal-like kind of thing, it's going to give you a similar experience to X-Wing, but in that scenario. So you don't have to buy a bunch of miniatures. You just grab your favorite Hot Wheels cars and you're good to go. A lot of people like to customize the cars to make them look really apocalyptic. Quick shout out to Gaslands there.
Okay, so there you go. 2 games, number 53 spot, just about X-Wing, the miniatures game from 2012, or Gaslands, either one.
Yep.
Dick Van Dyke, get on it. All right, enough of that yapping, enough bullshit. Whatever the fuck we've been talking about, type ass shit, 6-7, if the Joker could beatbox. It's time to get into the real meat and potatoes of the episode, the part of the show that people come back week after week to listen to, and that's the main topic of this week's episode, a genre unto itself. I just love the elegance of that statement. You vote, you just be the deciders on whether or not we actually understood the assignment, because I'm not sure we did with the list we have, but we're going to try our best. I think it's really kind of hard to call a game a genre unto itself, where it's really not doing anything that any other game is doing. That said, there are some games that I feel have premises so unique, so out there, that it has not found the mechanics, or some of the core ideas have not found a home anywhere else. it has yet to be reiterated on and done better. So we've done our best.
I think it's one of those things where you could be like, oh, well, but this thing is similar, you know, but like, I think there's just so much of the game that feels foreign to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
So why don't you start us off?
Oh, okay. I'll go first.
Yeah.
Flowerfall. We've talked about Flowerfall in the past, but we talked about Carl Chudyk earlier in the episode. This is another Carl Chudyk game where it is a dexterity game / area control game of you dropping cards from like the top of your head down to the table. Again, you're not throwing the cards. You are just releasing them above the table and trying to aim so that they land in areas that help you get more points. I have not seen any other game, even dexterity games, use the concept of dropping cards. Yeah, it can fit into the larger dexterity category, and I know that dexterity is already pretty varied, but I think this one, even within that, really stands out as like, what? A what? Like, when you play it, part of the fun of Flowerfall is like looking around the table at everyone else and being like, this is different, huh? And so
you're like the only one doing that.
Everyone else stares at you and just says, like, just nods their head like ugh.
Everyone else is just like, why aren't we just playing Flick 'em Up? I'm gonna almost like be combative on this one a little bit because I have played this. I think that it is. I think you're right that it's novel, that like the core mechanism is dropping shit, but like I think it's a little bit dull for that, and it's like you're just largely sort of participating in an activity where you don't feel a ton of control over the outcomes.
Well, if you're bad,
I'm not saying it's. No, sure, yeah, it's all skill. No, I'm not saying it's like not fun, and it's so short and light that like it's, you know, I don't know, it's so unserious.
The list isn't like the best games ever that are also their own genre. Well, so I don't think we should evaluate.
Like Flowerfall is like is great.
Okay, that's fair. You know, I don't think it's the best game ever made, but I think it's like it makes you go, you know. Anyway,
yeah, it does make you wonder. I think the best thing it does is it lets you imagine what it must have been like to have played that one magic card unironically.
Oh yeah, the Chaos Orb.
Chaos Orb, I think. Yeah.
All right, what do you got?
Broom Service. And we've kind of talked about this a little bit. The brave, cowardly mechanic.
Yeah, it's pretty brave of you to put this on the list.
Sure, but like we've said this before, and I've seen other reviewers, almost anytime this game gets mentioned, they almost all say the same thing, which is that it has this unique, brave, cowardly mechanic, which I haven't seen any other games do, and we don't really know why, right? It's like Broom Service is like the greatest mystery. It's like, did they patent the mechanic or something? Or is it locked down under IP law? We don't know.
It is very strange because it is so fun and interesting.
Yeah, and we've speculated a little bit as to like maybe it's more narrow than it looks, you know, as far as application.
Yeah, I think this is a good pick. If anybody has thoughts on why this hasn't been used more, you know, write in or let us know.
Andreas Pelikan.
Okay, so Andreas Pelikan's the one who came up with the mechanism. Yeah.
Yeah, which they've also done Isle of Skye, which I've heard good things about. Broom Service, the mechanism of the brave cowardly thing is a neat idea that, like we were just saying, has not seemingly been done again. But the underlying game is a somewhat dull pick up and deliver attachment, if you will, to this other mechanic. And I don't think it like doesn't work at all. But many people have been saying this. Just many people have been saying this. I wish that mechanic were applied to something perhaps a little bit more interesting, a little bit more rewarding, possibly, for being willing to try and take those risks.
Right. I got one for you. Can you guess which one I'm going for?
I can, but if I say it, then you'll change your answer. It'll be really funny.
I'm thinking of The Mind, Tom. Do you see what I did there?
That's what I was gonna say. Whoa.
Oh, that's what you were thinking too. Yeah. Whoa. So The Mind is pretty unique in my mind because it is a limited communication game where you you literally just don't communicate. Because in other limited communication games, you have a means of like relaying information.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole premise is you're literally just trying to play cards in order. You have to be psychic. You have to feel the other person out. There is a trick to it, but I don't want to say it because it really ruins the experience, I think, in my opinion.
Well, I think there's two joys to this game in a sense, which is one, seeing if you can figure out what the trick is without reading it. I think the rule book itself even kind of just tells you.
Yeah, it says turn this upside down if you want a hint, kind of thing.
Yeah, but I will say, even after you know the hint, there is still like a whole another level to which you have to still get in sync with the other players.
Yeah, bye, tearing up my heart, yeah.
And I was just watching some actual LOL videos, and this game sort of like beat out a handful of other games for him in his collection. Mm-hmm. And I found that interesting because overall, I didn't think that highly of the Mind. It's almost got me like, maybe I ought to play that a little bit more often than I do. Because like, there's something very satisfying when it does come together and your group actually syncs up.
I think it's a truly unique experience. It's not going to give you the same as other cooperative, no communication games. And for that reason, I think it's here in this list.
Well, I'm going to talk about Clask.
Oh, okay.
And Clask is a weird one because in a lot of ways it is very similar to ice hockey. But it manages to be ice hockey without any of the fancy mechanics. And so it does function as and by mechanics, I meant like the literal mechanicals. Like you don't need power or you blow air through a bunch of tiny holes. You're just using magnets and kicking a little ball bearing type thing around and trying to get it inside your opponent's pit. And it's kind of neat, like just how much, I guess, strategy can evolve out of something that is kind of simple from a list of components that actually, need to build this thing. Mm-hmm. And it's light enough, like it can fit on your table, right? And kids will like it, adults will like it. There will be like world tournaments for it, stuff like that. If you haven't played Clask or even heard of it, I wouldn't be too surprised either. But like it's this interesting little thing that's like kind of trying to become like the new, I don't know, sport of
table sport. Some ways. Yeah. It kind of fits in the same space as like foosball or ice hockey, like you said.
Right, but it doesn't require like nearly so much like mechanical investment.
I enjoy Clask quite a bit. I think my one gripe with Clask is I wish it had a transparent lid. Because the number of times that the little bits get flung out because you're bad at the game kind of thing. Maybe this is a me problem, but like, I just feel like it could have used like a transparent piece of plastic on the top so that things are self-contained, but that's just me.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And you can open it, you can open it so you can readjust things in between rounds. But like the fact that things are just constantly flying out, I'm like,
Clask 2.0 coming soon. I know that there's like rules involved for like not flinging shit so hard that it flies out. Like to some extent that seems as if it was intended as part of the design. But yeah, I mean, the more that I'm thinking about it, like the more neat it is that this contends with things like ping pong, table tennis, and all that. It's just so much smaller in scale, and it has, I would argue, perhaps, and I'm sure a real Clask head could go even further, that it has about as much like depth and appeal as something like foosball.
For sure.
But again, with just so much less being asked in terms of investment.
Tom, I'm going to hit you with one that you're probably not going to agree with, but I'll try it. Minecraft Builders and Biomes.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to think about that one because I saw you add that kind of at the last minute.
So a lot of the family-ish parts of the game are pretty standard, go exploring, get stuff, things like that. But the thing that really stands out to me is the giant cube of cubes. And the fact that you can only take a piece when it's like liberated on its sides. Maybe this is me not knowing enough games, but like that feels like, I don't know. To me, it kind of struck me as like, I'm surprised that this kids game has a mechanism that I haven't really seen anywhere else. And of course, someone else is going to come in and say, oh, actually, blah, blah, blah. Like, I am curious what other games do this, but like the big cube of cubes where you can only take a liberated piece, and the idea of like what's a liberated piece kind of fascinates me.
To be fair, this came after Builders and Biomes, but there is this new game alert called Tesseract.
Oh, yeah, okay. I think that does do that too. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
But to kind of go to what you're saying, like as far as we know, and we might be like oblivious to some, but Builders and Biomes kind of like created this genre almost, as far as I know.
And I mean, it doesn't do anything crazy with it. I'm sure Tesseract is more interesting in how it uses it, but like, I think just the mechanism itself, I was like, huh. And it was probably overemphasized by the fact that this was like a kid's game.
I mean, in a sense, it kind of boils down to being like cube drafting, but with like a seeded, procedurally generated cube, technically.
Right, yeah.
So
but there's a third dimension to it. I think that's what's interesting. It's like,
yeah, it literally has that dimensionality to it that makes it interesting. The rest of the gameplay of Minecraft Builders and Biomes is like sort of not worth the setup in my experience. It's like,
I think it's strictly a game to play with kids, and if the kids are enjoying it, like
that's what I'm saying. Like it's such a chonker. Like the setup cost is too high for a game that, in my experience, kids are like kind of mid on overall.
Yeah, I don't know. My kid really enjoyed it, so
I guess she's built different. I don't know.
Yeah, built for tough.
I don't have much else to say to this. I think I agree. Like, yeah, the cube drafting thing. You know, if this didn't invent the genre, it is something that has not landed with as much influence, perhaps, until very recently. Another one that I thought of as far as something that could be called a genre unto itself is Cosmic Frog. Now, I didn't necessarily come up with this. I saw Redditors talking about this game in a list of unique games. And I mean, Cosmic Frog is very unique in style, in presentation, I would argue.
In vibe, too.
In vibe.
Like how it approaches things.
Really even gameplay. I mean, like, it's kind of a mind bender in a number of, like, small ways. I know I was, like, kind of middling on my experience overall. I think I could probably... I know I would sit down and try this one again to see if maybe there's something I just wasn't understanding on that first run through. But I am fascinated with like all the special language this game has. The frog, the art is fucking awesome. Concept, the aesthetic, like it's really doing a lot of things very differently. And I love the overall mindset it has, even if the actual experience of playing the game for me felt like a little too much just waiting for your turn and not a lot to do when it did finally get to your turn. That's just me, though.
I agree with this being on the list. I think I'm in a similar spot to you where I'm very mid on it. I do think I enjoyed it more than you did, but I'm in a similar place where I'm like, I'd be willing to revisit it. It's not a game I'm like seeking to acquire or play a bunch of times kind of thing. But there's no disagreeing that the theme and the way it's presented and the overall vibe is just so unique, like truly kind of like stands out. I love the terminology. I also even love like how idiosyncratic the rule book is. I wouldn't say it's the easiest rule book to learn rules with, but I love the like the flourishes and the touches it has inside of it in terms of how it describes certain mechanisms that like were not necessary to internalize the rules of the game, but like really enhance things, both for like remembering rules as well as just like being excited about playing it.
Yeah, this one's a cool one. I mean, check it out. I would describe it almost like Smash Brothers in slow motion.
Next, I have Inhuman Conditions. Have we talked about this one, Tom? I'm not sure if we talked about it on the cast. We might have talked about it like on a drive sometime.
It's not ringing any bells for me.
So Inhuman Conditions, it's actually available as a print and play. This is one of those games that had a really nice deluxe edition, but you can also just print it out. It is a 2-player void conf test, if you're familiar with Blade Runner. One player is a Blade Runner, a detective, and the other player is either a human or a robot, and you find out at the beginning. And if you're a robot, there is a tick that you must follow. For example, every time you use a preposition, you always have to scratch your chin or something like that. The goal is to basically go through this discussion, this discourse, as the Blade Runner and try to figure out, is this person a human or are they an android? Everything looks suspicious. It's like, yeah, it's just kind of crazy how this game evokes what it's intending to do like so easily, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you just, even after hearing what the game is like, if I were to ask you, Tom, or ask you, a listener, what kind of game is this? It's really hard to put it in a specific place. Like, it's not exactly a 2-player duel game. It's not a social deduction game. It's not really a role-playing game either. It's kind of a strange hodgepodge of those things while also being kind of just its own thing. And so that's why I think Inhuman Conditions is kind of unique in that experience.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to say the least. I guess I'll just have to go print it up and try it out.
Yeah. With all those other games that you print out all the time.
Yeah, I've definitely done
I love how
before.
we did the print and play episode and you came out of it like, I'm going to print out like 5 games. These are at least sound awesome. And then it's like, there's just too much stuff that we're doing.
None of that.
Yeah, there's like too much going on.
Frankly, I mean, like, I'm just not at a moment in lifetime commitments, whatever, to be like gluing and cutting and laminating my shit.
I think that's perfectly fair.
Yeah.
It's one thing if there was like one of the kids that enjoyed doing that and that could be like an experience with them. But like if it's literally just you like, all right, time to do this. There's no way.
Well, I hadn't thought about using it as a way to trick my kids into actually giving a shit about board games. But as much as I joke, though, I actually recently noticed on BG Stats that our oldest has played like over 100 plays of 60 unique games. So I'm like,
okay.
I'm misrepresenting them every time I complain as if they'd never play games with me.
It's never enough.
It's never enough. That's what it boils down to. It's all about the quality family time you can have.
It's about family. That's what makes it so special.
I'm going to point out the fact that you subjected me to like bibliography knowledge shit earlier.
Okay, the Spider-Man one, I'm with you, but like this one, you don't need context. It could have just been a statement that I was making that you could tell I'm just being facetious. You don't need the full context of the whole
the lore of like all the sound bites that we don't even have like the actual sound bites for people. Like we're just recreating the sound bites.
I think it becomes bibliography worthy when like you have no clue why they just said that. And it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, okay. I see maybe where you're coming from. I'll do a couple more for you. Ready? It's just like, Superintendent Chalmers ready for an unforgettable luncheon. Yeah.
Watch your profanity.
Oh, it's like a really old one or something, you know. Besides all your bass, that's the first thing I think of every time.
Yeah.
I was actually showing the kids like
ding 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 bam bam bam.
Oh no, I got one.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Dude, did you know that entire music video, it's like just him on a blue screen?
Yeah, it's like
you know
4
what the
of
reason
him.
Was?
No.
So apparently the reason that the Tunok Tune guy, I don't know his name, I'm sorry, I could look it up.
Dollar Mendy, I think.
Dollar Mendy, that sounds right.
Tunok. Dollar Mendy. Why do I know these things?
That's impressive.
Like, what did that erase? What core memory did that take up the
your
spot
child
of?
being born? Gone.
Tunok
Tune is sung by Dollar Mendy. That's in. the Tunok guy, apparently he got like accused basically of like the success of his music, what hadn't all to do with the fact that he'd get like hot women to dance in his music videos. There were just like, conservatives blaming him for just, enticing people. So he was like, fuck all y'all. I'm going to spend like over $1 million blue screening myself. And there's some shit that like Sinners ripped off. You know what I'm saying? Where he's like leaning on himself on the blue screen. And the effect is like somewhat convincing despite the fact that it's obviously just him twice, And so, yeah, it's just a music video with nothing but himself. And he apparently did that as like a kind of a fuck you to all the accusations. So, and then it blew up on the internet.
It's great. I love that song. Want to do more memes or do we want to do more games? The eternal struggle for shelf stable.
Yeah, I was just noticing like our runtime. I'm like, damn, we're going to finish this episode in like under an hour. I can't let that slide. Like,
yeah, Kenny has nothing to edit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like, Kenny's not going to be able to cut anything out. He's going to have to leave everything in. So I gotta throw something out there. So the only other game that I could think to come up on this list was Cave Evil, and I haven't even played it. So I don't know why I'm talking about it. It's like almost like just on art style alone, there's something unhinged about Cave Evil and Mushroom Eaters. Like, it's more like the whole collective. Yeah, the entire Blast City Games collective.
Right.
They're just making like some unhinged, wild looking shit. And I gotta say, they're keeping it interesting.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Their whole ludography of Blast City Games genre unto themselves.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. The last one I had was Hansa Teutonica. Now you might just be saying this is just a dry old Euro. What, Kenny? I think the mechanisms, the core conceit of Hansa is so different from whatever else is out there. To me, it feels like a evergreen classic. And I have a hard time comparing its pushing mechanic to anything in any other game. So that's part of what attracts me to Hansa. It's what makes me want to play it, but also like I think even outside of that, it's just a really good game. But do you agree with this, or are you kind of like, no, Hansa's just Euro? Like,
no, I see where you're coming from with this. Like, and I don't know enough to really dispute it. I think I've argued before that it does things that I don't remember what I was saying. Was I comparing it to Yokohama? But like, it's not exactly that. I kind of see where you're coming from with this one. Like, is there an equal yet that we found in Hansa Teutonica?
It's just got this very unique, like, between the pushing and then also the like schlump, and then you like put the thing next to it. Like, I don't know. It's very much in a class of its own, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's one of the most schlump-like games.
Yeah, it's the
perhaps.
schlump of schlumps. We have one that we both wrote independently, so I think it'd be a good one to end on.
Okay.
Do we want to try to say it together? 3, 2, 1. Millennium
Blades.
And that was definitely synced up.
I just tried to mess it up. Millennium Blades. The only issue I have with this game is that it sucks.
I like it.
You do? Because I thought like the last time we played it, like, well, even I was you were like,
I was like embarrassed. Yeah, I don't think it's best at like 3+ for sure. But I think it's like a dueling game. For a 2-player
game, it's so nuts to like pull this whole thing out.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole point. It's gaudy. It's like over the top.
Yeah.
You're playing out an entire like trading card anime. Like, give it a break.
I almost wonder, like, we were just playing it like 1v1v1v1 during the battling part. Were we supposed to do it like one-on-one, like almost like a tournament?
No, it is free for all.
Oh, that's gross. I wonder if you can just mix it up by doing so. I mean, okay, the reason it's on this list is because of what we're kind of talking about, which is that there's these two distinct phases of the game, And it's ultimately trying to capture the overall vibe of being at an early 90s Magic the Gathering like pro tour event or something like that, where there's just side vendors and black market shenanigans just about to get your hands on.
Half of it plays real time, where you're building a deck in media res.
And to that end, like that part of it, I don't know, like I understand it and it works overall, considering how complicated and how crazy just real-time free-for-alling a marketplace can get. And then you flip over into this battle thing, and like the mechanism for determining who wins the match when it's free-for-all like that, we found to be really exhausting in 4-player. Now, in 2-player, though, you said like a head-to-head experience is totally fine. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt for that. But even still,
I've definitely cooled on it quite a bit, but I still enjoy this game, and I'll still vouch for it. But I also understand that you didn't like it and that others didn't.
Yeah, and the other thing that I have yet to see like other games do is make like banded wads of cash, the player, like the pieces. For the different denominations of currency. I mean, that's just sick. I love the excess there in particular.
Yeah. We still got to try to make a like Magic the Gathering variant where you're like real time spending on like fake packs. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Talk about a headache and a half to set up. But if it's possible, it could be interesting.
You just get a cube and you know, make a bunch of piles.
Yeah, just step 1, get a Magic the Gathering cube, which is easy to do and not expensive. And then like
assuming you
separate all the
one.
cards into like random packs.
You do that anyway to do a Magic Cube draft.
The way you say, like, you know, just rip out a cube. It's like that. It has the same energy as this video I saw of like Gordon Ramsay saying like, now just pull out some leftover risotto from last night. It's like, okay.
If you already have a cube, it's not that hard. We're talking about us right now. We're not talking about like someone who's never played Magic.
Yeah, listeners of the show out there who haven't played Magic, what are you doing with yourselves? How do you sleep at night?
No, we should be telling them don't play Magic.
Get into it. It's probably
Fortnite
better than it's
right
ever
now.
been at this point. Like, you can play as SpongeBob. You can go up against like the Necro guys from Warhammer and Fallout characters, Final Fantasy. They're going to have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles soon. I mean, like...
Tom is being facetious.
It's the best it's ever been.
Should we wrap up?
Yeah, I think that's enough cynicism for one night. That's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you, everybody who's been listening to this. Thank you especially to Michael, Tyler, Devon, and Josh of the Boise RainBeaus for your sweet segue music. And thank you to Bonehouse for letting us use your song Rot as our opening theme.
If you're loving the cast, share it with a friend or on Reddit or on BGG. You can also reach out directly at shelfstablecast@gmail.com. All this and more in the show notes. If you like what we're doing and want to make more of it happen, consider subscribing on Patreon. You'll get access to bonus content and Discord. Tom, we doing book club next week?
Yeah, I think it's time to get back to reading. Next week, we're going to talk about Chapter 2 in Characteristics of Games by Richard Garfield et al.
Real short note. I'm having a baby.
What the hell? What the hell? No
I will.
way.
I'll be out of commission in December, but we got some exciting stuff lined up. You know, I'll be recording an episode with Tom ahead of time, and then Tom will have some guest hosts on to do the episodes with. And I should be back before the new year to do all the year-end wrap-ups and things like that. So I won't be out too long, but just wanted to give listeners a heads up.
It's going to become a show that I run. I call the shots. So look forward to that. Congratulations, Kenny, on doing it again. I know you worked very hard to get to this point.
Yeah. I had to channel all the Kiki energy.
Yeah, now that you have 2 children, you can decide one of them to become Boba and the other shall become Kiki.
All right. On that note,
I don't know what else to say.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
See y'all next week.